Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Pointless Top 10, a show where we make top 10 lists of the pointless things, where we fly and buy a pointless statue in Booty Bay, because inside pointless things are treasure. Let's begin. Number 10 are the Murghouls, and the Murghouls are undead Murlocs that are located at the Chilmere coast in the Howling Fjord. And the reason these Murlocs are undead is they are being transformed by the Scourged Necrolords into zombie Murlocs, essentially. And as you can see right there, there are these big purple crystals that are shooting out these large, like slinky-looking beams, and then one big beam of light, and they hit the Murlocs, and I guess it makes them into undead Murlocs. I don't know the science behind it or the magic, but it's pretty cool, to be honest. And so this is the only location in the game where Murghouls actually exist, and there's Murghoul Corruptors, Murghoul Flesh Eaters, and Unstable Murghouls. And there's also Rotgill. And Rotgill's father, Old Icefin, is nearby, and he offers a quest where you have to go and get his son's trident. And so for being such a small, random area in Northrend, it actually has a lot of cool stuff behind it, and that's why the Murghouls are number 10. Wow. Number 9 are these Murlocs located in the northeastern part of High Mountain that just collect a bunch of treasure and junk, and they just hoard stuff. And I could have sworn that these guys were called Junk Hoarder Murlocs at some point, but I think I just put that into my brain because I looked all over and I couldn't find anything called Junk Hoarder Murlocs. And I was like, dude, I know I saw it, but either way, these are actually Junk Hoarder Murlocs. They get a bunch of stuff and they bring it up to their pile of junk, and I love it. I think it's so fun and goofy. And I can't remember anywhere else in the game where I've seen a bunch of Murlocs just hoarding stuff. Like, they've got swords, they've got shields, they've got pottery, they've got skulls, which I don't know why they're getting those. They've got crystals, they got a whole bunch of stuff in there. And that's just their big pile of treasure up on the mountain. I think all their little huts and shack things also have a lot of knickknacks and little treasures as well. And so they might not be the most well-known Murlocs or the craziest Murlocs or the strongest Murlocs, but you know what? They're good at what they do, hoarding junk, and that's why they're number 9. Number 8 are all the classic WoW Murlocs as well as Old Murkai, and I was gonna do just the Westfall Murlocs and Old Murkai, but I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna group all the old classic Murlocs together because they're kind of all the same for the most part, and you know, there's some in Elwyn Forest and Darkshore, and they're kind of all over the place, but I wanted to put the Westfall ones on here because I think that's the place I remember them the most, to be honest. And Murlocs have to be one of the most notorious mobs in World of Warcraft. Like, out of all the things that try to attack you in this game, I think a lot of people, they see Murlocs, they hear Murlocs, they hear the and somebody might have not played WoW for 15 years, and if they hear that they're gonna be like, dude, that's a Murloc, right? And then there's Old Murkai, who is the Murloc leader that patrols the shore of Westfall near the old Westfall Lighthouse. And I kind of talk about this in Pointless Top 10 Lighthouses, but I'll give a brief summary here. So Old Murkai actually led attacks against this lighthouse. He just didn't like it for some reason, and then the family fled, and then they came back and they relit the flame in the lighthouse, and Old Murkai was like, nah, we ain't doing this, and he coerced the weaker-minded Murlocs to raid the lighthouse again, and this time he killed the family. So it's actually pretty messed up. I think a lot of people see Old Murkai and they're like, it's that crazy named Murloc running up and down the coast, but he like led attacks against the families of the lighthouse nearby. Like, that's pretty insane. And so that's why the classic WoW Murlocs, including Old Murkai, are number 8. Number 7 is Cookie, and I guess he's Captain Cookie now, but Cookie used to be an elite Murloc in the Dead Mines in the service of Captain Greenskin and Edwin Van Cleef. And then, after the Cataclysm, according to the Adventure Guide, Cookie proclaimed himself captain of the Defias Brotherhood's Juggernaut following its previous commander's death. Although he still performs his official duties as Chief Cook, anyone who questions the validity of his captain title has been known to come down with a severe case of food poisoning. But yeah, people have known about Cookie for as long as this game has been around, right? Like, way back to even vanilla WoW, people were doing Dead Mines, they were fighting Cookie. Like, Cookie is old, dude, but like, he's worked his way up the ranks to Captain Cookie. Although I think in Shadowlands, they actually find him dead, but it's also Shadowlands, so I don't really pay attention to any of the lore that happens there. So how could I not put a Murloc pirate chef that has been around since pretty much the entirety of World of Warcraft onto this list? So that's why Cookie is number 7. Number 6 is Squirky, and Squirky is Grimner Stonebrand's pet Murloc standing next to him in the Forlorn Cavern in Ironforge. And Grimner is teaching Squirky how to fish and has been feeding him blind minnows from the pool in the cavern. Also, I thought it was pretty funny that in Legion, he was actually renamed from Squirky, Squirky, to Squrky because there was a Murloc with the same name that are located in Azuna named Squirkies, and they are young squiggle fin Murlocs that can be captured in in pet battles. So there's 2 Squirkies, and there's actually an official Squirky plush available from the Blizzard Gear store, but it's for the other Squirky, not this Squirky. Why can't we have a plush of the fishing pole Squirky, Blizzard? Come on. But yeah, I love this Squirky. He's got his little fishing pole. You feed him fish, he gets happy. Like, come on, we at least need a battle pet of Squirky, right? Like maybe if you do some sort of fishing thing, or if you feed him enough fish, he becomes your pet. Like, Blizzard, please. If you're not gonna give us a Squirky fishing plush, at least give us a Squirky fishing pet. That's all I want. And that's why Squirky is number 6. Number 5 is Sir Finley Murgleton, and Sir Finley is a sophisticated Murloc adventurer who is a member of the Explorers League. And Sir Finley can be found all over. You find him in Stormheim getting involved with the bloodthirsty pirates led by the Vrykul. You find him in the watchtowers of the Sandy Beach and the Shimmering Expanse in Vazgir, which I actually talked about the other week on Pointless Top 10 Beaches. And it's here where he trades seashells for gold, which in turn can be traded with the wildlife in order to gather items that can again be traded for Finley's red crystal monocle. And he can also be found in Rustbolt on Mechagon Island. And I think there's a couple other places like Uldum and Thaldraszus. Sir Finley's all over. He's even in Hearthstone. In fact, Sir Finley was actually originally created for Hearthstone and was not part of World of Warcraft until Legion. And so yeah, I love Sir Finley. I mean, if you look at this guy, you'd be like, it's just some weird looking Murloc with a hat and a backpack. But he's actually one of the most intelligent beings in World of Warcraft. And that's why Sir Finley Murgleton is number 5. Number 4 are Gorloks, and Gorloks are an Arctic race of Murloc-like creatures, and most Gorloks are members of tribes that battle the Tuskar and Wolvar in the Borean Tundra and Sholazar Basin. And so these aren't technically Murlocs, but they're a Murloc-like creature, and I was like, you know what, just put them on the list, because I love Gorloks. I think Gorloks are one of my favorite thing in World of Warcraft. I remember back in Wrath of the Lich King, I loved Gorloks. I remember I actually made some weird David Lynch-style WoW machinima about Gorloks. And I don't know, there's just something about Gorloks that I like a lot. I think they're really goofy too. When you do the quest, they're just like, me go this way, yes, 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 and you like follow them around, and they're really happy. I think I love how happy they are. And according to the Wowpedia, Gorloks were jokingly called Murlocs on crack in the World of Warcraft magazine, which I could see it. And there's also speculation that if Bran is correct about a frog wild god creating the Gorloks, it may have actually been Kragwa, which is the frog Loa located in Nazmir. And he's also in Pointless Top 10 Frogs. Sorry, I'm promoting a lot of Pointless Top 10s this episode, but there's a lot of crossovers, all right? And that's why Gorloks are number 4. Number 3 are the Necrofin Murlocs, and the Necrofin are a tribe of deep-sea Murloc necromancers that dwell in Darkwater Cavern in Nosdrathar. And the lore behind these Murlocs is actually pretty cool. So legend has it that they discovered necromancy on a series of rune tablets at the bottom of the sea. So I just love the idea that these Murlocs were just walking around. They're like, hey, what are these tablets? And they're like, whoa, necromancy, awesome. And they just start raising the dead. They're like, whoa, this is so cool. And now they just have a bunch of like random skeletons standing near them that they command around. It's like they're playing Diablo or something. And the Necrofin Murlocs are actually in a war with the Naga nearby, and so they just keep going back and forth as they battle each other. But aside from all that, they really are just normal Murlocs, but that's why I put them so high up on the list, because this is the type of lore that I love in World of Warcraft and just games in general, is when there's like, oh, these are just some random Murlocs, and they stumble across these like necromancy tablets, and all of a sudden you have Murloc necromancers because they trained in it. Like, it's such a funny, goofy thing to have happen just out in the world, and so that's why the Necrofin Murlocs are number 3. Number 2 is King Murgle, and King Murgle is not actually a Murloc, but he also is. He's dressed up as a Murloc. He's a Night Elven agent of the DEHTA, and he's always wearing this Murloc costume because he loves studying the Murlocs. And Murgle first appears at the Winterfin Retreat in Wrath of the Lich King in Borean Tundra, and he goes there to observe some Winterfin Murlocs in their natural habitat, but then he sees that Klaxamus, this magical Makrura, is taking control of the tribe, and so the unaffected survivors that don't get mind-controlled run over to Murgle, and they name him their king, and then he tries to help them by getting you to do quests to save them. And he appears a few other times in the game. He appears in Cataclysm, he appears in Legion with Murky, shout out to Murky, by the way, honorable mention. And then he appears in Battle for Azeroth in Nosdrathar, and he has Murgle's Bar and Grill, which I think is my favorite scenario for King Murgle. And most of his interactions with the player involve trying to restock the bar in order to keep the Murlocs entertained and well-fed, something he acknowledges is difficult due to their ferocity shown by this particular branch of species. He even asked the player to hunt for crabs, admitting that doing so is contradictory to the overall goal of DEHTA, claiming it is necessary to prevent the patrons from preying on humans. And I also think it's funny, there's just a bunch of drunk Murlocs here being like, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, that's why King Murgle is number 2. Blah, blah, blah. Before we get to number 1, I want to give an honorable mention to the Murloc backpack that is a transmog item, and it is phenomenal. It's just a little Murloc backpack guy. He eats fish. When you go into combat, he goes into his little eggshell. I love it, and I wanted to put him on the list, so that's an honorable backpack Murloc mention. And actual number 1 is Gurvergull the Conqueror, and Gurvergull the Conqueror is a Murloc located in Morheim in Stormheim, and he is here with his Bilgefin invaders. And there's a quest here called Reclaiming Morheim, where you have to go fight these Murlocs, and obviously this is a reference to Mike Morheim. But I'm not gonna lie, the reason I put these at number 1 is for the sole reason of they just look cool and funny. Like, these are Viking warrior Murlocs. They've just stolen a bunch of gear. They're just standing around and they're just like, blah, 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 and they're just ready to fight. It looks like they've made targets out of shells so they can practice throwing axes at them. And then all of them are just walking around with swords and shields, and some have helmets, and it's just funny. I just think it's really cool, and I like it a lot. So that's why Gurvergull the Conqueror and his crew are number 1. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this episode of Pointless Top 10. If you want more Pointless Top 10s, you go watch Weird Things Underwater from last week, or you go watch Pointless Top 10 Frogs, like I mentioned earlier in the video. Also, consider supporting the channel over on patreon.com/crendor, or by becoming a channel member. Okay? Okay. See ya.